Yeah. It's Chris White, the General, introducing. It's been a long time coming. Here we go. I know some of y'all don't know me, but my name is Chris White, but I'm black like Kunta Kinte. I mastered this style, Jesus Christ is my sensei. I've been rocking this way since way back in the day when brothers rock corduroys and Sergio. 1 2 1 2. Check. Welcome and thanks again for tuning in to another video. Today I want to react and respond to the meeting with President Zelesky and Donald Trump and J.D. Vance in the Oval Office. But before we get to that video, I want to go back a few years to 2022. So we'll just lay a little bit of groundwork first, and then we'll get to the main event. But let me share my screen real quick, and it'll all make sense in the end.
In the capital of Ukraine, the sound of missile strikes and air sirens. Explosions rocking several cities, including the capital of Kyiv, targeting military installations, including air bases housing fighter jets.
The initial strikes that we think we're hearing right now, right out of the Russian playbook, would be cruise missiles to take out things like surface-to-air missile systems, air defense systems that the Ukrainians would have. That would clear the path for waves of bombers and attack aircraft to continue to hit things like power plants, command and control, internet command centers.
Russian President Vladimir Putin warning that any foreign attempt to interfere with Russian action will lead to, quote, consequences they have never seen.
Talking about the denazification and demilitarization of Ukraine. I mean, judging by those words, this appears to be the worst case scenario. Potentially, we have to wait and see. Not just forces moving into the east to these rebel-held areas, but potentially moving on other parts of the country. This seems to be a much larger ambition.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky issuing a video statement overnight declaring martial law, urging Ukrainians to stay home and not panic, adding, quote, "We are strong." Earlier, at the exact moment Putin announced the Russian military operation was underway, the UN Security Council was gathering for an emergency session, their pleas for peace coming after the first explosions were heard.
I have only one thing to say from the bottom of my heart. President Putin, stop your troops from attacking the Ukraine. Give peace a chance. Too many people have already died.
Then, at the end of the session, a stunning moment when the Ukrainian ambassador directly addressed his Russian counterpart.
There is no purgatory for war criminals. They go straight to hell, Ambassador.
The escalation appeared to begin earlier Wednesday when cyber attacks targeted Ukrainian government websites and banks. Civilian flights were restricted, and one senior Pentagon official told ABC's Martha Raddatz, quote, "You are likely in the last few hours of peace on the European continent for a long time to come. Be careful."
A very sobering message, but captures exactly what we are facing here in Ukraine on the European continent. The most dangerous time, as they've said over and over at the Pentagon, since World War II.
Okay, I want to pause right there for just a second, just to get everybody up to speed. So this video is from 2022, and we can clearly see that all of the media outlets were covering the event when Russia attacked Ukraine, and not only did they attack them with tanks and other instruments, they also tried to attack them with cyber attacks and things of that nature. So just laying a little groundwork here. But I want you to pay close attention to the last 10 to 12 seconds of this video. because I think even though this is a little short clip, it'll be very important by the time we finish with the entire video.
And President Biden will address the nation later on today, announcing what he says will be severe sanctions to punish Russia. They could involve cutting off Russia from all Western financial institutions. Mona?
Okay, so that's how the war started. You know, anybody who's into truth and just being honest with what they see with their eyes and hear with their ears, you can't refute that. The fact that Russia and Vladimir Putin started the war by invading Ukraine. And here is a video of Donald Trump blaming Ukraine for the war and saying that it wasn't Russia, but Ukraine actually started.
I think I have the power to end this war. And I think it's going very well. But today I heard, oh, well, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal.
Donald Trump falsely blaming Ukraine for starting the war with Russia in a wide-ranging late afternoon rant on Tuesday. The comments come as his diplomats begin talks with Kremlin officials to end the war.
I want to see if I can save maybe millions of lives. This could even end up in a World War III. I mean, to be honest with you, you've been hearing now Europe is saying, well, I think we're going to go in and we're going to go. All of a sudden, you're going to end up in World War III.
Trump also admitted that before Putin's invasion almost 3 years ago, the two leaders had spoken about a potential military operation.
President Putin and I would talk about Ukraine. It was the apple of his eye, I will tell you that. But there was never a chance of him going in. And I told him, you better not go in. Don't go in. Don't go in.
Okay, so because Trump told Putin, don't go in, don't go in, I'm pretty sure that tough talk right there is the main reason why Putin didn't go in and invade Ukraine before he left office, because he had Putin shaking in his boots, I guess. So if you buy that. So I want to get on to the main event, what all the big buzz has been about, and share the video with President Zelesky, Donald Trump, and J.D. Vance in the Oval Office. All right, here we go.
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal? That doesn't work that way.
Okay, so he didn't want to say anything bad about Putin before he met with Zelensky, but he didn't have any problem making false claims saying that Zelensky was a dictator, said that he was unpopular. I think he said that his ratings was, approval rating was down to like 4%. All of that stuff was false. And he said that Zelensky is the one responsible for starting the war. So he didn't have any problem misrepresenting him before talking to Putin, but he didn't want to say anything, even the truth, about Vladimir Putin before meeting with Zelensky. So I find that to be a little strange, but let us continue.
I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America.
Did he say he's not aligned, or did he say I'm not lying? Because we know Well, anyways, let me back it up. But he's definitely lying. He may not be aligned, but he is lying.
I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America and for the good of the world. I'm aligned with the world, and I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred, and I understand that, but
Evidently, he does not understand that. He's saying it's difficult for me to broker a peace treaty or a deal because Zelensky has so much hatred in his heart for Vladimir Putin. So I have a question for us as Americans, New Yorkers especially. Do you think Americans or New Yorkers especially would have a lot of love for the terrorists who flew the planes into the Twin Towers and knocked those buildings down and killed all those people on that day? I mean, this is years later after that happened, but do you see how asinine that sounds for him to act as if a man who's currently in the middle of a war and has people in his country dying, fighting, many of them have been killed, many women have been raped, hospitals and different things, destroyed. And this man is still in it, he's still in the fight. And he wants to belittle his passion or his anger when he's the leader of that country and responsible for all of those people over there. And I'm sure he carries the weight of all of those deaths. Anyways, that's kind of crazy to me.
I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done.
Zelensky's facial expressions are tearing me up. Look, watch this when how he shook his head and when Trump was saying he was aligned with the world. I mean, he's using great restraint here, but man, that tickled me.
I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way. So that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I would respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace.
Okay, so here comes the gaslighting. Earlier, I showed on the video where the anchor reported that Biden, has some choice words for Vladimir Putin, and he immediately placed sanctions on Russia and made it difficult for them to benefit financially, from America after he, attacked Ukraine. If you listen to J.D. Vance and let him tell it, Biden was just blowing smoke and beating his chest, but not putting any action behind his words. But the truth is, he did put action behind his words, and he made sure that we supported Ukraine with weapons and even money in some cases, but for the most part, it was the essential things that they needed to fight back. so that they wouldn't be overtaken.
Peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the president of the United States' words mattered more than the president of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and
2014.
Yeah. So
I was
he killed,
not here.
yeah, but
That's exactly
but
right.
So he didn't have any understanding of these historic events until he became president, I guess. But I digress.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, yeah, the situation the same. That people are been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him, a lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him. Me, like a new president in 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel. We signed ceasefire. Ceasefire. All of them told me that he will never go. We signed him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What?
So right here, President Zelesky makes it plain. Russia has been killing people in his country since 2014, and it's now 2025, and the killing is still going on. But from 2014 to 2022, he had all of these talks. They tried to be diplomatic. He had other leaders from other countries try to help broker a peace treaty. And they've even signed things. And Vladimir Putin did not keep his word. He broke his promise. He broke the ceasefire. And he still ended up attacking Ukraine. So Zelensky's just asking an honest question. Like, you're talking about diplomacy. What different type of diplomacy are you talking about other than the diplomacy that we've already tried? Like, what's going to be different this time? And so he's wanting some answers, because obviously this administration, Trump and Vance, they're only interested in getting the goods that they can get, the minerals and resources from Ukraine. That's what this meeting is about, cutting a deal. They're like, what, we can offer you protection or whatever, but what's in it for us? And so that's really what they're trying to get to, like what's in it for us? We want to get to this, but he's like, I need some assurances. I need some guarantees. And anybody in that situation, or even a smaller situation, I mean, you don't just go buy a car or a house and just give them all your money and don't have any kind of contract, any type of, anything that you can rest assured that I'm not getting jerked around. So he's saying, okay, before I give up the only bargaining chip that I really have, which is the resources of my land, because that's what they're interested in. What are you guys going to do to make sure that Putin doesn't just attack us again? All right, so I'm gonna let it play.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media.
Okay, so now he's the instead of the vice president, he now turned into the lawyer in chief. So he's starting to talk over Vladimir Zelensky because he does not want to have an open and honest conversation in front of the American people because he knows he's going to look crazy. And he knows that Trump is going to look crazy. So he starts to step in as if he's an attorney in a courtroom. And that's why he used the word litigate. That man wasn't trying to litigate. He was simply asking an honest question, and he was explaining the plight of his people, and what you're saying to him is crazy. I mean, if it was me, I would probably try to keep my cool just like he is, but on the inside, I know he's like, this guy can't be this stupid, but I'm gonna back it up a little bit and watch how JD Vance sort of turns into an attorney on him.
Going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? Did you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen.
Okay. JD Vance almost lied and said, "Yeah, I've been there," but then he remembered the cameras were going, and he was like, "No, I watched or basically like I heard stories or whatever." But no, he hadn't been there, and Zelensky knew he hadn't been, and so he's like, "Come once before you just try to share all of this wisdom, so-called, with me about how to end this war. Why don't you come and see what we're out here actually dealing with?"
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to.
Okay, I'm sorry to have to keep stopping this video, but he's talking about him having manpower problems, as if, anyways, I'm gonna let it ride.
Bring it into this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine? Did you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration?
Okay, I'm sorry. I cannot let that slide. He asked him, like I said, he's a lawyer in a courtroom right now. Is it true that you have problems recruiting right now? You're saying getting people to join the war fight. Okay, so I'm a former recruited for the military for over 15 years. Got over 25 years in service. I know a little bit about recruiting and trying to get people to the war fight, even in this country. Now, in his country, they've been constantly under attack and outnumbered, outgunned, out everything. And so when you're in a war like that, and many of the men who were there have been killed or captured, and they just don't have the bodies to fight. And his point is, you trying to paint a picture as if they're cowards and You know what I'm saying? You can't get your people motivated. You're not a good leader to get your people to join and fight. Well, let me tell you a little bit about recruiting in America. When I first started recruiting, my very first year, I'll never forget, I was about to meet with like a 17-year-old, 17 or 18-year-old. They were high school junior or senior. And right before my appointment time, the Taliban had, or Al Qaeda had just cut some people's heads off and uploaded the video. And you know what happened when I went into that house? That lady cussed me out. You know, like, no, you're not about to send my baby to war. Not after what I just seen on TV. There's a lot of people who are capable, healthy enough, don't have any issues, and they don't have the courage to join even in peacetime. Matter of fact, the liar in chief, number 47, dodged the draft with some doctored up paperwork talking about some bone spurs. And so this man has the audacity to try to belittle this leader and make it seem like in front of the whole world that it's just a losing cause and America's just throwing, good money at bad. And we just can't keep, throwing money out like this because this guy can't motivate his people to want to fight. And so America, our tax dollars are just going to waste. This is the propaganda and the picture that he's trying to paint here. Just keeping it 100.
Administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country.
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You
God bless. You will not have a war.
Okay, so they cut him off, and they try to spin this as if some people I've seen, they try to spin that as if he was communicating the threat, like you don't have those problems now, but you will. He wasn't saying like Ukraine was going to attack America or anything like that. What he was saying is, what the Bible says is, you reap what you sow. You may think that everything is good now, but what comes around goes around. And they're the ones that need help now. But one day we may be the ones that need some help.
God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless. God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what
Remember
you're doing.
this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. Right now, you don't.
So, oh man, that was classic. He said, "You don't have the cards," and he says, "I'm not playing cards. I didn't come here to play spades." They wouldn't let the man talk, and if you read between the lines or them over talking him, he was saying, "You don't feel it right now, but if you don't, help us, and you let Russia run over us, they're going to run over other people. And not only that, economically, we're going to feel it. We're going to we're going to feel it because war is expensive. And other people, other nations, everybody's going to be affected if there's a war going on. And we already have a divided country. We already have so many challenges, inflation, and so on and so forth. You know, high prices on everything. What do you think is going to happen? You know what I'm saying? If some type of something similar to a world war breaks out, or if, you know, we were to be attacked in some way, we're going to feel it. We are going to feel it. And that's all he was saying is, you may not feel my pain right now, but what happens to people in other parts of the world, it will affect us in some way. And I wish they would have let him talk to make his point. But at this point, they already had a plan to ambush him and not let him get a word in.
Serious,
Play
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives of
anymore.
millions of people.
You think
You're gambling with World War III.
What do you
You're
think about-
gambling with
what do you
World
think about-
War III. And
We-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to you.
Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank
So now they're playing the show me some respect game. And he didn't do anything disrespectful. Matter of fact, they've been very disrespectful to him this entire time. And he's showing so much restraint, which he has no other option but to show restraint, because he's doing what he can. The only reason why he took the meeting with these bozos is because his country needs the help. And if his country didn't need the help, you know what I'm saying, he definitely wouldn't be letting these weaklings talk down to him, because he's a real leader. He's a real warrior. And he's sitting here having this conversation with a draft dodger and someone who served in the military, but they did 4 years and may not have even seen any combat. This guy is the real deal, and they're trying to talk down to him like they're the real deal.
you once? This
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
You can go back and pull up videos upon videos where President Zelensky has spoke several times and said how thankful he was for the help of the United States. And so I'm not going to pull up any of those videos to show you, but I mean, it's there. Just Google is your friend.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can-
trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your president.
Hold on. Did he just call him a stupid president? We gave you this stupid president $350 billion. Now, is he calling Zelensky a stupid president, or was he trying to say that Biden was a stupid president to give him $350 billion? Because how are you going to sit here and call this man stupid? Hold on, let me play this back.
Damn good chance of
We are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
You
We
voted
gave
for
you
your
military equipment.
You
and you
voted
met.
Okay, so he was calling Biden stupid. He said, we gave you through this stupid president. Pot calling kettle black. $350 million. Okay. And why did he start using profanity and cursing at this man? This is crazy. And it just goes to show like how he lacks integrity. I learned a long time ago that you gauge a person's integrity. Sometimes you can gauge a person's integrity by how they treat people in which they can gain nothing. So if someone you can't really get anything from someone, or they don't really have much to offer you, you shouldn't treat them any less than somebody who may, be a millionaire or a billionaire. That's what the Bible teaches. Jesus says that we should have no respect to person. In the church, if a rich man come in wearing, saying fancy clothes and a fancy ring, fancy watch, we shouldn't tell him to come sit at the front. And then if a man that comes in and look like he homeless, be like, nah, don't come in here, or just sit on the back row. In God's eyes, everybody has a soul, and there's no big eyes and little U's. But they want to play this man like he's small.
And are brave, but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have our military equipment, if you didn't have.
Why did he just push that man? Did y'all see that? Hold on. Let me bring this back.
And we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet.
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said
stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course.
Oh boy, he said if you didn't have our help, this war would be over in 2 weeks. And Zelensky replied, in 3 days. I heard it from Putin already, because that's what Putin said before. Oh, are we just gonna come in here and we're gonna run over them and it's gonna be over? Putin said that the war is gonna be over in 3 days. It's been 3 years. And they're still fighting. And so Zelensky is basically like, you ain't saying nothing slick to a can of oil. I've already heard all this stuff before. I'm here and I need your help, but I'm not really trying to bow down to you like we could keep it respectful here. And he's trying to stay buttoned up, even though he don't have on a suit. He's trying to keep himself together. But they are trying everything they can to make him get out of character, because they want to have the people of the United States, and especially their followers, to say, look, you see, he's out of control. He's not a good leader. Look at him losing his composure and stuff like that. We can't invest in this. We just gotta let them fend for itself, which is basically what they're saying they want to do anyways, is to just let Putin run over them, and whatever happens. And there's a big problem if that happens, because with Ukraine not being a part of NATO, if Putin is able to just flatten, Ukraine and take over, then what's going to happen is, who's next? And if he want to attack Poland is a part of NATO. So then we would definitely be in a world war, because if you attack one person in NATO, you're attacking everybody and everybody in the coalition has to come together to defend them or help them fight. So the person who's gambling, saying on the war is not Zelensky, it's the other guy.
Course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times to American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media.
There you go, talking about litigate again. He think he's still an attorney in somebody's courtroom. This is not the job description. No, it's not a litigation. And he thought he was going to come in here with his lawyer hat and lie to people and paint a certain picture like Zelensky's the bad guy and being disrespectful. He played it so cool, and they just keep, you can tell they had it planned. Oh, we're going to say that he's being disrespectful to the office, to the Oval Office, and so on and so forth. And but it's not working because Zelensky is being so cool. I love it.
When you're wrong, we know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
You see that? I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on. He thought that they were going to be able to paint that picture, but you can't, because this man is cool as a cucumber. He's cooler than the other side of the pillow right now. And they are doing everything. He cursed at the man. They raised their voice at him. They talked down about his military force. They did everything they could except say your mama. And this man is chilling, but they are stuck trying to push this propaganda or this narrative that he's so out of control. But the cameras don't lie.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards. You're buried there. Your people are dying. You're running low on soldiers. Listen, you're running low on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing. And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
With guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me.
For you what
that wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make because the attitudes have to change.
What if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks this?
Okay, so this reporter just asked, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire? How many of y'all think he's going to actually answer the question? All right, let's see how this unfolds.
What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now?
She asked, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire? And he responded, what if a bomb falls on your head right now? This is giving they're eating the dogs energy. Let me play this back.
I'm sorry,
It's going to be a tough deal to make
Uh,
because the attitudes have to change.
what if Russia breaks ceasefire? What if Russia breaks peace talks? What do you do then? I understand that it's a heated conversation right now.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it? I don't know. They broke it with Biden because Biden, they didn't respect him. They didn't respect Obama. They respect me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden.
Yo, how is Zelensky keeping it together? Like, oh man, those facial expressions when he was, oh God. He's looking at him like, what is this dude talking about? Hold on. Let me bring this back.
Me. Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt where they used him and Russia. You ever hear of that deal? That was a phony Hunter Biden, Joe Biden scam. Hillary Clinton, Shifty Adam Schiff. It was a Democrat scam. And he had to go through that. And he did go through it. We didn't end up in a war. And he went through it. He was accused of all that stuff. He had nothing to do with it. It came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of Hunter Biden's bedroom. It was disgusting. And then they said,
it came out of Hunter Biden's bathroom. It came out of his bedroom. And it was disgusting. Man, you see how he goes into these word salads, and anytime he don't want to answer a question, he just goes on these rants and talks about a bunch of nothing. And by the time our heads are about to explode, everybody forgot what the freaking question was in the first place. But let's see if he gets to it, if he ever answers.
And the laptop from hell was made by Russia. The 51 agents. The whole thing was a scam. And he had to put up with that. He was being accused of all that stuff. All I can say is this. He might have broken deals with Obama and Bush, and he might have broken them with Biden. He did, maybe. Maybe he didn't. I don't know what happened. But he didn't break them with me. He wants to make a deal. I don't know if you can make a deal. The problem is I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out.
Okay. Captain Bonespur empowered somebody else to be a tough guy. The person who is softer than the toilet tissue at Costco is empowering this leader who's been in the trenches with his troops in war for the past 3 years. But you're the one empowering him to be a tough guy. And I get what he's saying. If it wasn't for us having these, being able to give you these javelins, he's really proud of the javelins, being able to give you these things to fight, you wouldn't be able to stand up to Putin the way that you are. And this man is like clearly telling him, we're not backing down. You're sitting here trying to tell a man who is literally looking death in the eye every day that the only reason why he's tough is because of you. And you can see on his face, he's like, I'm sitting here dealing with this poop show that you putting on, because we really need the help. But he don't really respect him, and Putin don't respect him. Heck, I don't even respect him. But you want to act like you're the big cheese, and and he's just a small fry.
And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position.
Okay, so now we get into the truth. Their whole plan was, let's get this deal signed, and then I'll make everything right with Putin, with Russia and Vladimir Putin, but you got to give us something first. We don't care anything about your humanity unless we get something first. America has to get something out of the deal. We have to make sure that we're winning. And really what's going on here is this is like loan shark type, this is some nasty work. This is something you would expect from the mafia or something like that. But I guess that's what we get when you put a criminal, twice impeached, multi felon in the White House. They really think that they could just use the government and their positions of power as if they're the good fellas or something. They want the minerals and the resources that Ukraine has, but they care nothing about whether or not they survive or not. And if we think about it, the deal is this, well, this is what I see. If we help Ukraine, or if Ukraine signs this deal, America gets a chance to claim those resources in exchange for protection or some sort of protection or guarantee, hypothetically. But if you don't sign this deal right now, you got to sign it right now, like a used car salesman. You know what I'm saying? This deal is only for today. So if you don't sign it, he's like, well, screw y'all. Y'all ain't gonna make it but 3 weeks. And so what's gonna happen if America just backs out? So if America just backs out, there's a good chance, unless other parts of the world step up, that Russia is gonna run right over them. But if they run right over them, guess what? You know what I'm saying? To the victor go the spoils. Then Russia will have all of these minerals and so on and so forth. And America wouldn't have access to that because Russia's going to be like, nah, you couldn't get you couldn't get this man to lay down for me, which is what this is looking like. You know what I'm saying? Putin is Trump's boy, and he want to get Zelesky to just, you know what I'm saying, buy into what he's selling. And the thing is, America gains some wealth off of that. But if you don't sign the paper right now, this deal is not going to be here tomorrow, and we're just going to let Russia run over you. But if that happens, Russia gains all the spoils. So it looks like to me, we're just in it for what we can get, not who we can help. I mean, I could be reaching, but I doubt it. Let's watch the end of this.
But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think? Huh? This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right.
He said, I think we've seen enough. This is going to be great television. Whew. That's crazy work. So look, I know this video is getting kind of long. I want to share one last video, and then I'm going to close out with a scripture. You know what I'm saying? Hold up, wait a minute. Let me put some Jesus in it. This next video is where one of the reporters who were in the room, and of course, there weren't any liberal reporters in the room. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the room is like right wing because he don't want anybody in the room asking questions that it needs some real answers. But let's check this out.
My second question for President Zelensky. Why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest. Why don't you wear a suit? You're at the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you own a suit.
Yeah, problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not respecting the dignity of this office.
I will wear.
Okay, so here's the people that he allowed to ask a question, pushing the same narrative that he's being disrespectful. It's like they huddled up and everybody knew the play was, we're going to push this propaganda that Zelensky came in here being so disrespectful. And they couldn't accomplish it with, the lawyer in the courtroom scene. So now even the reporter in the audience is in on it. And he's like, you didn't even wear a suit. You're being disrespectful. How dare you come in the Oval Office and don't have on a suit? Well, you know who else didn't have on a suit? Just the other week, Elon Musk was in there with his son, and he didn't have on a suit. Matter of fact, he had on like a baseball cap or something like that. It definitely wasn't a two-piece or a three-piece suit. So why was it not disrespectful for Elon Musk to be in the Oval Office with his son pointing at Trump saying, you're not the president, because he think his daddy is the president? But now you coming at this man who's in the middle of a war talking about, where's your suit? And I love his response. He was like, when the war is over, maybe I'll wear a costume. I think that was a slick way of him calling that reporter a clown. But let's hear the rest of this interaction.
Costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe something
like yours. Yes. Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper. Thank you.
Thank you, President Trump. You said yesterday that you have.
Are you going to send more arms to Ukraine in case there's no peace?
Yeah, we're going to have arms to Ukraine. Yeah, sure. Hopefully I won't have to send very much, because hopefully we're going to have it finished. We're looking forward to finishing this quickly. We're not looking forward to sending a lot of arms. We're looking forward to getting the war finished so we can do other things.
Okay, so he's looking forward to getting it done quickly. He just want to get it over with. But I want to share a scripture, and then I'm going to get out of here. I hope y'all been enjoying this video, and hope that you will subscribe, click the bell, like, share, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? It all helps. But I want to close with this. This is from 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 7. And I'm reading from the King James Version. It says, "For the Lord seeth," but that means continues to see, not as man sees or continues to see. "For man looketh or continues to look on the outward appearance, but the Lord continues to look on the heart." So when they want to make a big deal out of the suit, you know, Zelensky's like, I'm not here to play cards. I'm not here to wear a costume and impress anybody. I'm not here to put on a show. I'm really here trying to save the life and the land of my people. And if you're not careful, you could be duped by the propaganda, or you get enough people saying the same thing, you know, saying you'll think is right. But last time I checked, the Bible said that broad is the way that leads to destruction, and straight and narrow is the path that leads to life. But they all try to gang up and push this narrative, and then at the end, you want to make it about the suit. But God is not looking at the suit. God is not looking at your bank account. God is not looking at who seems to be the most powerful, because Goliath seemed to be the most powerful until David found 5 smooth stones and laid him down. And then after he laid him down, he took his own sword. David took Goliath's sword and cut his head off. So God specializes in taking the little man and defeating the giant. God specializes in taking situations that seem like they are impossible and making the possible happen. So hopefully there's a lesson for us to learn in this. Don't be looking at the outside all the time. And I love a song that we sing at my church during praise and worship. It says, "It may look like I'm surrounded, but I'm surrounded by you." And that reminds me of one of God's name, Jehovah Nissi. He's a banner of protection around us. So I pray for protection, that Jehovah Nissi will show up for the people of Ukraine and for the people of America. We're really in a rough place right now. Democracy, the Constitution, just everything is, you know, kind of on shaky ground right now. And so we definitely need to pray. It's a praying time. Even though we didn't, some of us didn't vote for the leaders that we have in office right now, we even have to pray for them, you know, because if we don't humble ourselves, you know, it's going to get ugly real quick. And when you start talking about war, you know, take it from a person who's worn the uniform for over 25 years. Their names attached to those uniforms, and it may just be that they're fighting in Ukraine now, but it's possible that you know, our men and women could have to be in harm's way as well. And so we definitely want to pray for all our service members, and pray for the Congress, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everybody. Because if we don't get this thing together, you're saying we won't have a country soon. And so I'm gonna close with that. But just remember, God looks at the heart. Man looks at the outward appearance. So let's focus and pay attention to what God is paying attention to, and not doing things according to the way man sees things. Y'all be blessed. Till next time, next video. I'm out.